remember, if I can cook it, so can you. So go nowhere. Let's create. So I have some pork belly, pork stomach. Look at this beauty. And I'm going to design a dish today that's going to be very delicious. But for my design to work, because I'm going to prepare this with a lot of flavor, I have to have certain ingredients. And I'm going to have some apple cider vinegar. You can use white vinegar. Some light soy sauce. You don't want salt. This is unsalted, by the way. So you don't want a lot of salt on it. I have some thyme, oregano, fresh. And I have some Himalayan pink salt. Now, if this was salted, you have to clean it up as much as you can. But it's still going to preserve some of the salt, so you can skip the salt here. I also have about 2 or 3 tubes of garlic. And I'm going to need a little bit of this lemon that I'm going to squeeze. And I'm going to show you what you're going to do with all this stuff. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut them in stripe. This fat is sticky. Look at this beauty, huh? You can actually perhaps prepare some bacon with this if you wanted to. And if you want to cut them more in a square shape, you can do that. But I'm going to go that long rectangular. And I'm going to put in this container, plastic container. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of, tiny bit, you don't have to count this, you just put a little cap or 2 of the vinegar. Let's make it 2. And 1 or 3, you just want to have enough. And because this is unsalted, what you're going to do, you're going to put a little bit of salt. Just a little bit. What you're doing is marinating this a little bit, giving it some flavor. You can get something like that or one of the squeezers. And put some garlic. You want to give it a nice aromatic and flavor. You can do this like overnight, or you get up early in the morning and you have nothing to do. Do it. Put it aside, Vinegar help them preserve a little bit. Put some of the garlic stuff. And you're going to put a little bit of that thyme. Not the entire thyme stuff, just a little bit. Just to give aromatics, give it that aromatics. You're working with your senses now. A little bit of oregano too. What I don't do is I don't put the soy sauce because I'm going to use it for something else. And I'm not using the lemon. Just the other stuff, Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a tablespoon of the vinegar. Put in this little thing. Actually, let's make it 2. Couple tablespoons. 1 of the low sodium soy sauce. And actually, you don't need the entire teaspoon, just about half. About half of the tablespoon. Just half. You don't want a lot of salt and stuff. Put your thyme. It's not a lot. It's about, let's say about 1/4 of a teaspoon. Same with the oregano. Get a couple tubes of garlic. Actually, one might be sufficient. Squeeze. And you want to mix things up a little bit. If you feel that this is not sufficient, and it might not be for me, what you do is add more vinegar. You can throw another tablespoon. See? And another half of the soy, which in essence is it becomes 1 tablespoon of soy and 3 of vinegar. You're trying to keep that balance. And then what you do is you come, and this is going to be optional. And this is going to be optional. I have some mirin. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put, this is about half a tablespoon. Or you can use water and a little bit of white sugar, because what you're doing is adding some sweetness. Because you're playing with the flavors with this. So you're adding some sweetness. And this is optional. Once again, mirin, which has some sweetness. 1/2 of a tablespoon. Or a tablespoon of water, room temperature water with some sugar. And once again, you're going to mix things around. And I have sufficient here for what I want. This one is small. Look at my hands. My hand looks big. They're big. So it's about the size of my hand, but you can use any size. And I have some vegetable oil. You can use some corn oil, sunflower oil. But for what I'm doing here, vegetable oil is sufficient. I know it's adding grease to it, but you're making, this is a treat. You need to treat yourself from time to time. So this is hot. And make sure you have something like this handy, because this could be splashing. So what you do is you start adding this baby. You can reduce the heat to medium. Maybe a notch above medium. You want the heat to be hot, in other words. So, couple notches above medium will do, above. And you're going to cook these babies until they are very fried. You don't want them raw or anything like that. If it starts splashing a little bit, just cover it, okay? And this is not going to take a long time. I mean, it's been only like 2 minutes so far. 2.5 minutes, and look how it's looking. So it's almost done. I just like it to be a little bit toastier. So let me put the fat at the facing down, the fat. Because I want that part to cook a little bit more, the fat section. And what you do now is have a plate or paper plate, some paper towel, so the fat drains a little bit. Transfer that here. Nice. Transfer them. So I have some of the sesame seed. I'm going to put it in my dip, just a little bit. You could have done it earlier, but I wanted to do a little bit late. Just a little bit. See, it's not a lot. So I cook some basmati rice, and I've choose basmati because of the aromatics. but you could have choose any type of rice. And what you do is you should put things together. You know, you can get some green onions and add it to it, your sauce. Just put it together, do it on your own style. It doesn't matter.